The life of a school superintendent has its highs and lows, definitely its valleys and peaks. It can sometimes be lonely, and then the next day, entirely socially stimulating. There is tragedy, there is triumphs, and there is true wins and real losses. But you are not alone. I'm so glad that you're joining me today, and welcome to Super Insights. Today is Tuesday, and let me tell you about the week that I've already had. Welcome to a week in the life of a school superintendent. At this point, we all know that the role of superintendent is a 24/7 job. We don't really get to clock in and clock out. We're always a phone call away, a text message away, an email away from having to focus up, lock it in, and help serve and support our employees in our community. Well, my week started on Sunday night at about 8 o'clock p.m. I received a phone call from the American Red Cross. In the city that I served, we experienced on Sunday and Monday just a torrential downpour of heavy rain and heavy winds. In my community, there's a river that flows right through. It's a beautiful river, but in big rains like this, it becomes a flood hazard. And we have a beautiful neighborhood and community that kind of lives in the fjord of this river or around a bend. And typically when we get flooding at this levels, the community has to evacuate their local neighborhoods, and our school district becomes a Red Cross shelter. And so we got the get ready warning at 8 o'clock p.m. last night for our school facilities to have to prepare itself to support those communities and our families who may possibly need a place to live or stay. And so we weren't going to know until around 2 o'clock a.m. on Monday morning if we were to activate this Red Cross shelter. And so while thankfully we were not allocated to have to open it up, that still made a relatively rough night of sleep for me, just waiting for that specific phone call ultimately to execute our part of that crisis management plan. Do you have a crisis management plan? And what role does your school district serve when it comes to catastrophes and other type of Red Cross situations? I'd love to know more about that, and I'd love to hear your stories. Please share in the comments below any stories that you can share with our group about some just crazy stories of how you've had to execute your facilities to serve emergencies. Mine started on Sunday night. So then as I arrived to work on Monday morning, I received a phone call from our director of operations letting me know that a boiler had gone down at one of our elementary schools. And so during this significant storm, it's relatively cold. We're opening up our school day with a broken heater inside our elementary school. This is a big deal. And I gotta tell you, that on top of the Red Cross shelter situation, I have to say that in my 7 years of being a superintendent, I would say easily 25% of my job has been around fixing things that break inside the school district. Now, I've also got to tell you, I have a doctorate in educational leadership. I have a master's degree in teaching and learning, and in none of those classes did it prepare me on how to fix things that break, or to even prepare me that 25% of this job is to respond to just broken things. It's just been really rough to learn through these processes that in aging, dated school facilities, things just get past their life cycle. And while we don't have the budgetary items or the budgetary freedoms to build millions of dollars worth of stuff, without asking our community for voting bond support or referendum support. Really, the onus is on us to just make do with, hope things survive, try to make small fixes here and there. And so this is not my first broken boiler. I will tell you I've had multiple broken boilers in my career, but it's never fun to start your Monday with that text message saying, hey, our boiler is broken, our fuel pump has failed, and we're bringing out a crew to fix it so that our kids and our teachers can have heat in order to start their day and experience high levels of learning in math, science, social studies, and language arts. So we responded to the broken boiler, and I just gotta say a big shout out to our operations team who dropped everything, and they've got a full plate of maintenance things to do throughout the day, honestly, to just triage the fact that we need to get the heat up and running. I then receive an email from a community member just making me aware that when they were in our high school gymnasium for youth basketball events, that there was a leak that had sprung in the roof and it was dripping onto the bleachers and onto the gym floor. Of course, I get this on Monday. And so I let our operations team know as well. And so just so you know, my life as a superintendent's week starts out with a broken heater, a Red Cross potential shelter, and a leak in the roof, ultimately, which needs fixing and patching and cleanup. Please give me a big thumbs up if you're a superintendent or school leader and you've dealt with multiple broken things inside your building. It's a part of the life that they don't advertise, and I'll tell you, it is time-consuming and stressful. I'd love to hear your stories of some of the craziest things that have broken in your facilities and how you've had to keep business as usual in order just to keep the system going. Tell me about it. So now that we got the school up and running, kids are in place, everyone's safe, leaks are stopped, heaters are working, gave me the opportunity to finally lock in and dive in with intense focus on some of the big meetings that I have coming up this week. My Monday typically starts with my superintendent cabinet senior leadership team. And really, we just took about an hour to look over all of the hot topic issues, kind of divide and conquer on some of the very big decisions that needed to be made and needed to be communicated. We started to have a conversation a little bit about upcoming meetings that we had when it comes to budget and teacher union collective bargaining preparation meetings. And we also had just some big meetings coming up that required very serious conversation. Our words and the words that we said were at utmost importance. And it's such a special team, though. And, you know, I know every superintendent has their own cabinet of truly the most trusted advisors. But I always just feel so confident, and it makes me feel so much more comfortable after starting my Monday morning with the people who, I truly trust with my own profession and my own personal career to be able to talk about my thoughts in rough draft form, my strategies in rough draft form, and ultimately I get honest feedback from them, and together we start to build the week's plans with an opportunity for all of us to be successful and co-own our own part in executing that strategy. I'm a sports guy. I grew up being an athlete, a college athlete, a high school athlete, and there's nothing that makes me feel more fulfilled than being a part of a team. And I just always love starting my day with the team who I love the most and trying to tackle and just take a look at some of the most wicked issues that we're going to face this week, and being able to have partners that I can rely on, who I can count on to say, I've got this, I'll take care of this, I'll work with this person, I'll deliver this specific answer, and to know that our team together is able to just accomplish so much, not only makes you feel like the day is more fulfilling, but it also makes you feel like what you're doing at the end of the day is worth something because you're doing it in a meaningful way with the people who you come to work just loving to work with. So what a great way to start my Monday after all of the catastrophe. After meeting with the superintendent cabinet, I then had the opportunity to have a really great meeting with the operations side of the house. I'm so lucky to be able to meet frequently with our Director of Transportation, Director of Technology, Director of Nutrition Services, and our just operations coordinator. What a fantastic group. And this is the part of the week where we really get to take a look at some of the hot topic issues that we need to address over the course of the week. The first thing we do is we look at our rounding stoplight reports. I talked about rounding in a couple episodes in the past and how we glean what's going well, what barriers exist, what resources are needed, and who can we recognize for people who are doing the right work so that it can be repeated. And so we always put up the stoplight report, which are the things that are in green. These are the wins that we can harvest or the things that we've already accomplished. We take a look at the things that we've placed in yellow, and these are systems either that are being repaired in motion, but we don't have the data yet to determine if it's working or not. And then there are the things in red, that these are the things that were requested by our employees or needs that are not being met yet, and we're trying to work through or tackle either getting these people these complex things or improving the systems that they're telling us that are broken. And really that's about 30 minutes of just a really fruitful conversation of how we can support these things. One example of that is one of our kitchens at one of our school buildings said that they needed a ton of knives being sharpened and some type of thing that like mixes dough into different spots that needed to be sharpened. Well, that was a simple just do it, and we made sure to subcontract a company who's going to come out this week and sharpen those things. Those are things that we can mark green. One of the tougher things is in red is right now at our middle school because of some medical leaves and different absences. We only have one nutrition service expert who's serving breakfast all by themselves. And so we need to make some systemic adjustments to make sure that that person is being supported by multiple people to give best-in-class service to our kids and to make sure that we're safely, appropriately, making breakfast for our students, which is such an important meal for our kids. And so that's one that we're marking yellow right now as we try to frantically work together to support that. And I love bringing those issues up at this very table where not only does the superintendent and the director of nutrition services have the opportunity to tackle these problems, but our transportation director, maintenance director, they're all a part of the issue and they all have the opportunity to co-own some of the major issues that we're working together as a team. This was a great meeting and it just supercharged me for the day and the other big meetings that were coming up, but I'm blessed to have such a great team, and this is just the morning inside the life of a superintendent. After my great operations meeting, I had the opportunity to really lock it in with our upcoming budget and budget preparedness. For school districts, public school districts, this is really prime time budget season. And we're really looking at the numbers. We're trying to take our best guess at what the state's budget is going to be. And we just get, a portion of the state's overall budget. But at this time of year, the state hasn't finalized what their budget's going to be. And so we're making our own hypothesis of what we think the state is going to end up with. And this is how we start building our budget numbers. I'm going to go into a deeper dive in a future episode about budgeting itself because it is a major component of being a super successful superintendent. But this was a great meeting to really bring key stakeholders of who's a part of the budgeting process. Because again, it's bad practice if you are a superintendent and you're getting with your CFO and just the two of you are trying to put this budget together. A really good budget requires so many hands So many voices, so many opinions, and so much input to put together. A true school district budget is a work of art, and it is much like sausage making and law making and other ugly things that you can think of. Like, the creation of a school district budget is messy, it's ugly, it's argumentative, and you really just have to kind of let things fester as you talk about where best to prioritize things. Again, I'm so lucky to have a good team where we've been through these processes for multiple years together, and so we know how the systems are. We're aligned in our mission, vision, and values, and so we have a shared belief and understanding of what our priorities are. But please comment down below, how does your school system initiate the initial budget process? Who's at the table? Do you wish you were more at the table? Do you wish you collected more voice? I mean, there's so many different ways that school districts budget, and I would love to hear your voice, and I would love for you to collaborate on how your school district serves its initial budgeting process. It is a rodeo, there is no doubt about that, but I'm excited that budget meeting number 1 happened today, and I've got such a strong team, and we are well on our way to putting together a successful budget that's going to offer competitive wages, serve and support our kids at high levels, while still being meaningful and mindful of taxpayer money, which is so critical. And now we move on to the very next meeting. By the way, no bathroom breaks, only coffee. And we haven't even made it to lunchtime yet. And of course, I've got a great executive assistant, and she ushers in the next group. Excited to meet with the superintendent, and that's talking about our labor contracts, or our teachers unions, who we work very close with, and our preparation for what's going to be a very productive, intense contract collective bargaining process, which is about to start in about 3 weeks inside our district. And so this was a great opportunity to work with our human resources department, other school administrators, and district leaders like curriculum and instruction and special education. And we had a 2-hour block, ultimately allowing us to go right through the whole current contract, line by line, article by article, to really have the opportunity to say, do we like this contract language? Do we need to make an adjustment to this contract language? What do we anticipate that the collective bargaining side is going to lobby or advocate for in anticipation for that? And so this was actually a quite enjoyable conversation. I'm very blessed in our district to have a really productive relationship with all of our collective bargaining units. I know in many districts it is nasty, it is dysfunctional, and it can at times be extremely stressful. And mine's going to be extremely stressful too, but in a different way. I just feel like we've put years of work into our employee relations, and we've done a lot of work to really support our employees' voice and try to authentically be that best place to work environment, which I'm so proud of. But nonetheless, it is a big game of poker at that table, and we need to make sure that we're doing our homework and that we're prepared for any and all things that might get thrown in our direction. And collective bargaining is such an important process, really because as a CEO or superintendent of a school district, I deeply want to offer competitive wages. To find a great classroom teacher is extremely hard to do, and to keep them, to retain them, to recruit them is all a crazy part of today's public education that's emerged really post-pandemic. It is a cutthroat world to try to recruit and retain very skilled and talented teachers. And we need to offer a competitive compensation package in order to attract those great teachers looking to land and invest their personal, professional careers inside a school district. And it's also equally important to have a competitive package to retain those great employees as well. Otherwise, they're going to go to the neighboring district who's offering a better compensation package. And so these are vital conversations, and all superintendents want to give raises. We want to give great cost of living and great health and benefit packages, because we know that competitive packages correlate to better teachers in the classrooms that ultimately serve our children and the families of the school districts who we represent. But we also have to be extremely fiscally conservative and mindful of taxpayer funds and taxpayer wages. We can't put ourselves in predicaments where we can't afford these wages and the staffing levels in the next few years, because we've boxed ourselves into a contract that our school district can no longer afford. And so inside these planning meetings on the administrative side or the school district side, we're doing a ton of mathematics. We're really looking at the numbers of what we can afford while also still trying to be competitive from a mindset perspective of what we truly can offer our hardworking employees. And so this was a fantastic meeting. It's just meeting number one, but I had a great team around me, and I was able to truly go line by line in the contract to make improvements, mutual improvements, improvements like Stephen Covey would say are win-wins, or Stephen Covey would say, you know, you've got the goose and you've got the golden eggs. And you really need to be mindful of both the goose who's laying the golden eggs and be mindful of the culture around the goose that's laying the golden eggs. And those are all things that are top of mind as we try to support our employees with a great competitive contract, but also try to best represent our school board and the community in being fiscally responsible with the contract that we're providing to them. There will be more to come when it comes to collective bargaining, but at the same time, this was a fantastic meeting, and I'm just so blessed to be surrounded by great people who are aligned in the mission, vision, and values of what we're trying to accomplish. My day then started to progressively move fast, meeting with individual parents, athletic directors, and other various people that just needed one-on-one time with the superintendent to get decisions, budget approvals, and other just nuanced day-to-day stuff of the superintendent. Was able to make it home in a meaningful hour, being 5 or 6 o'clock p.m., but then received a text message from one of my fellow superintendent colleagues in a neighboring school district near mine who had just experienced a catastrophic crisis where they had a student in their school district pass away in a very tragic way, ultimately triggering a community and county crisis response team. I'd like to know, does your school district partner with other school districts in your area so that when a death or a catastrophic crisis happens, that you send your supports to help support with the mental health and just help alleviate some of the crises being experienced in your neighboring district? In our county, we call it a flight team. And so ultimately, you know, here my day is coming to an end, but I have a fellow superintendent colleague calling for the execution of our flight team and flight team protocols. So at about 8 o'clock a.m., I get on the horn with our school counselors, our social workers, our special education department, and say, hey, just a heads up, our neighboring friend school district just experienced something extremely catastrophic and heartbreaking. It is our responsibility to support their needs. And so my day ended, which is where it just begun, and that was in full crisis response. And so we readied up our counselors and we readied up our social workers. And instead of coming to work on Tuesday inside our school district, they're starting to work on Tuesday with grieving children, grieving families, grieving staff members. And so again, it just goes to show you, the highs and lows of the day. I had some incredible highs, incredible wins, which just ended in heartbreak, a demoralizing piece of information that required us to respond in help and support of our friends who are also doing this challenging work in the business, but also to serve and support a neighboring community who the rug was just pulled right out from under them with an unexpected tragic event. And so, this job is hard. I'm not going to lie to you about any of that. And I'm hoping that, this vlog will truly underline some of just the amazing wins and the tremendous rewards that come with this position, but also just exposes the things that people don't see. And that is the tragedy, the pressure cooker, the life inside the microwave, and just some of the other things that exist inside this job that are extremely difficult. We have no preparation for, and the only way to learn is through experience and by surrounding yourself with a great team and a great supportive school board to help you navigate some of these tough issues. So thanks again for coming along on this vlog. This is just Tuesday. We're coming to an end of it today, and already there's been an amazing week that's been accomplished inside our great school district, and we're working at a feverish pace, all of which to set ourselves up for a successful week, a successful month, and to finish the school year strong, and to prepare for the next school year as well. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.